Good evening. This is Rhonda from Hamden Action Now. Thank you for joining us tonight. I have really awesome guest tonight, Fahd Syed. He is from Cair's Connecticut, and we're so excited to hear from him and hear about all the fun and awesome things that are happening in the Muslim community here in Connecticut. So stay tuned. It'll be a very interesting and awesome talk tonight. Thank you. Well, good evening. How are you? This is totally
Good,
cool, right?
Rhonda. How are you?
I'm having the best Friday ever because I'm hanging out with you. Totally cool, right?
Yeah,
So tell me about yourself and all the work you're doing right now.
sure. First, I'll start off in the name of God, the most greatest, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, which means the greeting of peace. So my name is Fahd Syed. I'm a board member with the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is one of the largest civil rights groups in America. We took on big folks in this country were bigots. One included Donald Trump, which is the president of the United States. I've worked with Yale Law School to file lawsuits against him with CAIR members and many other leaders within CAIR and the ACLU against the Muslim ban. Um, I'm also involved with the Commission on Human Rights. I'm the vice chair of that. I ran for public office before. Um, I was a board member with the Muslim Coalition, and I have many other different boards that I'm a part of, but I'm trying to downgrade them because I'm always being asked to join and join and join. You know,
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to speak about you, and whatever questions that you have, I'm your brother in humanity, and I'm here to answer whatever you need.
Well, I'm really proud to tell you that my daughter is learning she go in elementary school. I mean, not elementary. I'm all lost. She's in middle school. She's taking Arabic, and I'm always proud when she does these presentations that they're teaching her in seventh grade how to read and speak the language and learn the culture. So I'm a proud, friend and honored to be a part of your community and learning more about your culture. And I think that the rest of the community here in Connecticut needs to learn more, which is why I really wanted you to come and talk more about your community, our community and whole at a whole in general, and what your challenges are and what your legislative priorities are as well for the state of Connecticut in 2021. I mean, we just saw an insurrection where people were speaking. Basically the whole thing was about taking out Black and brown people. We have a whole now political party dedicated to that foolery. I would love to hear more about your plans for 2021.
So I know you asked me a couple questions there. First question regarding the Muslim community. The Muslim community, like the Black and Brown community, we are one, is an oppressed community. A community that is discriminated against
It's awesome.
constantly. Excuse me for constantly discriminated against. Back after 9/11, I was victim of hate crimes. I had weapons pulled on me. I was spit on. I was assaulted, and many other things. I mean, sometimes I get flashbacks. And growing up in America, growing up in the hood, it taught me how to stand for myself. And not only to stand for myself, stand for those people that couldn't stand for themselves. So you have many immigrants in my community that were very fearful of being attacked solely on their belief in their religion, solely on the color of their skin. and they didn't know what to do. You would have many elders who would just tell us or tell folks like me just to quiet down. Everything will get better because they were fearful. They didn't want the government to continue to harass them, including the federal authorities that constantly harassed the Muslim community. They would raid our homes. There was one brother, he would send money to Timbuktu, which is a country in Africa, to feed the poor people. He would build wells to let these African people drink water, and his home was raided. The man had a heart attack and nearly died, and he was an innocent person, did no crime, but was the leader of the Muslim community in Waterbury. The man had a heart attack and again nearly died. And there were many cases around that time where people were fearful, where there was large donors of doctors that I know that donated a lot of money and wrote checks where their doctor's office were raided, their homes were raided. And if someone in the mosque would have a camera, people would get paranoia. Stop it, you recorded me for the feds, because there was a lot of entrapment going on.
Mm-hmm.
These people never even caught a ticket. Nonetheless, being accused of terrorism, being threatened with their life, being trying to entrap people of color. So the especially the immigrant population of a Muslim country from all over the world. You could go to any mosque for the most part, and it's like the United Nation meeting right in the mosque. I'm not actually right in front of the mosque right now. You have people from Egypt, Africa, black, white, everyone from the world meeting and praying to God. Never committed a crime. All of a sudden, we're being threatened and trying to raid our house, so on and so forth. So I have to say the people that didn't grow in America were very fearful. But I grew up in America, and I knew, I really didn't know racism, but I know even if we had our indifference in the hood, when it comes to racism, we were all together as one.
That's right.
And then when I seen, um, you know, 9/11 and all the allegations about the Muslim community, even at that time, I wasn't really a practicing Muslim, but uh, I knew when my father took me to the mosque, these people will feed the poor. They will tell
Mm-hmm.
us nothing but good manners, good conduct, how to treat people. Everything, all this stuff was bogus. Then I was employed, and I used to hear folks talking about how they wanted to kill my family abroad in Yemen, and how they wanted to kill people in Palestine, which is an one of the most oppressed places in this world. I've been hearing about Palestine from my grandmother, and my grandmother heard it from her grandmother. And it
Mm-hmm.
goes between generation and generation and generations. And I'm so glad that the progressives are now bringing it to the light to the American folks, where you could just go on, Facebook Live and see how oppressed these folks are. So as I was 21, it was great to be having a great employment, uh, and I didn't want to lose it, but I was definitely, without a doubt, a victim of hate crimes. So
Right.
I didn't know what to do because I was really being attacked by the majority of people, and I'm going to tell you right now, they wasn't people of color. They were attacking me. They were doing all kinds of stuff to me, popping my top, putting nails in my tires, so on and so forth. So I just couldn't take it. And I just, uh, did what I did. Um, and I had to make a choice to file hate crimes or not. And I chose not to show my humbleness. So I'll fast forward this. The majority of the kids in our community are bullied.
Mm.
Um, there was a poll from Cair, Connecticut, Cair National, that got it from another Cair chapter, where the majority of Muslim kids, I believe 67%, reported being bullied based on their faith. And not only were they bullied from based on their faith, Rhonda, are you with me?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, all right.
Okay. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. This is the new world we live in with technology. Um, but he'll be right back because I'm sure he's going to log back in and be able to join us for this conversation. This whole night is devoted to understanding other cultures and what they go through living in this culture. I just wanted to say that I was just
Okay.
letting everybody. We wanted you to continue. I knew you were going to be right back because this is the world we live in with technology. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Could you hear me, Rhonda?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Am I good? Okay.
Yes.
Not only were not did they only feel discriminated against from their students, they also reported feeling discriminated against their teachers. And 20%
Mm,
in the survey wrote down that they feel discriminated by their teachers and what they say towards them being Muslims. Just because you're Muslim, as you know, you're not bin Laden, you're not a terrorist, you're not a saying you know what, so on and so forth. So
right.
also, even Muslim teachers reported being harassed by other teachers. A
Oh
matter
my
that
God.
a substitute teacher told Waterbury. I
Wow.
mean, this was years ago. And then, you know, as we continue to become a little bit more progressive, especially people that were born in this country, we were learning a lot from the African American community, especially the converts, people like Bishop John Selders, my man,
Yeah.
and many great folks within this state. And then we had Donald Trump.
Oh my
And
Lord.
and even though we were getting good, we were getting better, there was Muslims becoming uh, elected officials, which made us so happy. We felt a piece of the pie to a certain degree. And then we see this bully. And the same folks that were talking their smack and their racist bigotry back after 9/11, he emboldened them. And
Yeah.
where they were quiet for a little bit, they became like they were lions. And the race game started. So my personal, I guess my activism out in the streets came when he became elected. Right before, when he was talking all that smack in the primary, I remember at the Hartford Convention Center.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I went there. That was like one of my first protests. Some of the folks were like, "Who are you? Who are you?" And I was just observing. To be honest, I never used to speak or none of this, nothing like this. But I just couldn't take the bigotry. But I remember
Mm-hmm.
at that time there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Trump supporters coming out. He had like an event there, and I was getting a little heated. And I said certain things where God forbid me, I shouldn't say that. And there was a brother next to me, African American Muslim. He said, "Brother, it's time to pray." And I said, "You know what? I think that's a good idea." And my kids were staying right next to me. And they said, "Bah, can we pray with you?" I said, "This is what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to watch us as we pray. If we get attacked, you guys could warn us."
Mm-hmm.
It took. I mean, there was probably like 500, 600, maybe even more. So I didn't know how the scene was. We do certain things when we pray. We bend down. We go to the floor. But there was a group
Right.
of folks there who heard me tell my kids that, and they said, "Brother, you go pray. We'll protect you guys," which was a
Mm-hmm.
great feeling, a very great feeling. Then from there, Trump got elected. I was so upset. Uh, I kind of figured that probably was going to happen. I
Yeah.
don't think he was for me, was not you know, someone for that time. And he emboldened these folks. And I went to New Haven, and I went to New Haven Green, and I seen many speakers speak. Black Lives Matter, people from, the women's groups, the LGBT groups, and I didn't really see, no one from the Muslim community. And I said, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I have to stand up. And I gave such a powerful speech that I don't know where it came from God. That when I was I was fist pumped, and then after that I was booked for years. After that, yes.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, your community needs your leadership, because we don't, like, we get bullied. I'm a black person, I'm a black woman.
Oh yes.
Our bullying and the things that my daughter and I have to experience, and whatnot, is something totally different. But it's all hate, and it's all wrapped up in white supremacy and a white order of things. Policing, education. We all, I mean, I can't afford to put my child into private education, and I'm sure you can't either. So we have to work with the public education system. And that, again, all of this is designed for them and not us. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to constantly fight. And then I'm really saddened to hear, all that you all had to endure, especially after 9/11. And then now it's all kind of resurrected all over again. So, we always want to talk and support. And this is what racism, how we can break it down, this whole thing, because we have to talk and hear each other's story. We have to talk and hear each other's story, and what your life consists of. We can't just assume. When we continue to presume that, oh, they're this or they're that. I mean, they're not. We are absolutely human beings. You're a human being. You know, and you choose to worship and have a religion that's maybe different than mine. I'm a Christian, you're a Muslim, but that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make me a bad person. And
Lord,
I
no.
just think we need to continue to talk about the things that we have to endure, being a black Christian or a Muslim, or LGBTQ or whatever. We just have to understand that we are all human beings here. We have to coexist. And so I'm really glad that it was able to come and tell us all that you've been through, because we don't discount it, and we're here to support you 100%.
Correct. So I believe that what we're doing now, that our kids will be reading in the history books, that there are leaders in this country who stood up for those that couldn't
Yes.
stand. That our kids will know that there were people that were righteous, that were not
Yes.
afraid, and that are willing to die for equality and justice for all.
That's right.
That's what I believe, and that's what I do. You know, I have people making videos of me, and again, these are all people that are white supremacists, right? And
Yep.
many other things about me, and putting videos up, so on and so forth. I don't care. I
I
don't
don't
care.
care.
Yeah, I'm here to protect my people, all people, the black and brown community, and anyone that's oppressed. You know,
Yes.
um, but we have to have more people doing this kind of work, including from the Muslim community.
Yes.
Yes, you know, it's hard. Like I told you, I'm on so many different boards that I'm overwhelmed. And different calls, different meetings, and you know, and it's hurt. It's very at times hurtful when I hear the stories, and doing kind of like mediation with some of the Muslim kids, or even their parents, or so on and so forth, that are suffering from discrimination and
Hmm.
hateful acts. And maybe they want to pray at work, but their bosses will let them know. Or maybe a Muslim woman wants to wear her veil, you know
Right.
and she wears her veil because her role model is the mother of Jesus, Mary. So so um many other things. But I try to embolden them. you know you, as a person, you can't hide your skin color, right?
No, I can't.
and
Oh,
you're proud to be black, right?
I am.
Yes, absolutely, and excellent. And I try to teach the people is, you can't hide yourself. You are who you are. This is how God made you. There's no
Hmm.
need to be scared or feel that people are going to target you, or so on and so forth. This is how we break those chains. you know
Yes.
yes, we break those chains of being proud of who we are.
That's
you know
right. That's right.
Standing up for the oppressed, being there for the poor, so on and so forth. this is
That's right.
this is what we were taught. Our prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, used to release people that were in slavery, that were in chains, and used to pay high money for them. One being one of the examples, one of the biggest examples, his name was Bilal. And Bilal was one of the persons that used to call the prayer. He had a beautiful voice, and his so-called slave owner, tyrant, told the person that bought him from the Muslim community to release him. Said, if you told me basically to give me pennies for him, I would have sold him. And he told me, if you told me to give you mountains of gold, I would have bought him to release.
Mm-mm.
And he became one of the leaders of Islam that end up killing his slave master in a battle of war.
Wow. Wow.
That's one of the stories.
Well, I think you're right about that. And that's one thing that I try to teach all the young people, including my own child, is
Yeah.
that you must be Black and proud, because the foundation of white supremacy is to take away your internal value, and the value of who you believe and you are. You have to be proud of who you are and proud and stand up for it and stand for justice and stand for righteousness and don't back down and don't be afraid.
Yeah.
That's what John Lewis talked about, good trouble. And we
Oh,
need to stay in good trouble. And that's how
absolutely.
we plan on staying that way. I mean,
Uh,
I know you are, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
know I am too.
Yes.
And so we will all continue to fight this fight for equality and justice and righteousness, because I live in the same world as everybody else. And so do you. And so do our
Yes.
kids. And I
Yes.
appreciate when you say that. Our kids are watching.
Yes.
All of these little kids are watching, even the big little kids. I mean, when I say the big little kids, I mean the 20-year-olds. They're watching
I
too,
know. Oh,
So
yes.
I agree
Oh,
with
yes.
you. I agree 100%. And we're not backing down. We have legislative priorities here at Hamden Action Now, which include, ending wage discrimination for the domestic workers. We're ending, also, we're trying to get housing for undocumented people, because you don't want undocumented people to be, homeless in the middle of a pandemic. That's a human rights violation. It's just ridiculous. I mean, we have issues around education and policing, and until, like you said, we need more people in the community to step up and get involved. Come and talk about these things, sign a petition, write a letter, give testimony. And so we're here to support your community and support you specifically. And I wanted to ask you, and you could tell me if this is too private to talk about it. What I saw on your Facebook page, you did come down with COVID-19, and so what was that like?
So, about maybe 5 weeks ago, I was COVID positive. Uh, to be honest, going in there and seeing a lot of people I work with, a lot of them were popping up COVID. So I'm talking about in the hundreds.
Oh wow.
So I knew going into work that I was going to become COVID positive. I'm grateful to God that my job gave us hotel rooms. Um, so I knew I was going to go in and catch it, but I grabbed the hotel room just to protect my family. I didn't
Mhm.
want to go home and give it to my kids and my wife or anyone out in the community. So I got it. So in a couple days, I felt really sick. Started speaking to some of my friends, mostly Hispanic and from the African American community. Most of them were telling me that when they go to the hospital, even though they're really sick, they will be booted out.
Mm.
So I said, I really didn't want to waste my time and go to the hospital. I'm not a big hospital guy. I'm big and tough and so on and so forth. So I said, I'm gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna get. I'm just gonna get booted out. And then my doctor called me, Dr. Khan. He's also a Muslim person, and he was he was like, how you feel? I had fatigue. My back was hurting me. I was
Oh my
coughing.
God.
My lungs were popping out. Uh, I was just really, really sick. But again, I said, you know what? I'll get over this. I try to tough it out. And that's what I was going to do. I had no intentions of going to the hospital. A couple hours later passed. He called me again. And he was like, listen, I want you to go to the hospital. You got to really think about it. I said, they're going to kick me out, so on and so forth. Like many of the
Mhm.
other people that I know. Um, so I ended up going to St. Mary's Hospital. They end up giving me tests and this and that. and ended up putting me on 95% oxygen. I wasn't on a ventilator, but they
Oh
were
my
giving me the
God.
oxygen, yeah,
Hmm.
to breathe. And again, I wasn't going to go to the hospital. Then shortly, she told me I was admitted. I said, I've never been admitted to the hospital. So,
Oh
so
God.
yeah. Then they gave me some kind of stuff, the thing, some liquids, and even what Donald Trump took. I forgot what it was called, but they gave it to me for 7 days.
Wow.
And, um, I was really my sugar popped up high, and I didn't really have issues like that.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I was bad 7 days, and as a community leader, you have so many people that call. Oh, it made me feel so good.
I
Call
know.
you, yes,
I
see
know. I
how
was
you doing.
messengering you. I was like, I hope you're okay.
Yes, yeah, and it was hard for me to speak to everyone. I was just praying in there, and whatever God will. I'm strong in faith like that. You know, my kids. I felt bad for him. My son's always following me and doing everything, and he would tell me I don't know what to do, and my brother will come and
Scary.
pick him up and take him out, and just to show him, Dad's okay. Whatever happens, he's okay.
Yeah.
But I was grateful to the doctors over there. They were very respectful towards me once I got in and admitted, and they treated me and they took care of me, and you know, I, I came out. I kind of pressured them. I was there 7 days. It's kind of hard. I want to go back home. I had COVID for already for the 14 days, so they finally released me, but they told me take it easy. I wanted to go
Yeah.
right back to work. I had things I wanted to do. I just don't. I'm not a guy who wants to just sit in bed. You know.
Wow.
So I went back to
Yeah.
work. I went back to the gym. I'm eating much better. I lost
Oh,
about
good.
35 pounds. So
Well, that's
so
good. I'm
yeah,
glad to know that you're feeling better. We were happy to see your picture that you put out there that, when you walked out and you were like, yay, I was like, yeah, we saw the number one finger. So we knew that you were
yes,
doing good.
yeah. So, so usually when I put the finger up, it means the oneness of God.
All right
My
now.
reason, I solely believe in one God alone without any partners. So you'll see a lot of Muslims doing that. And again, it's
That's
all
awesome.
a learning process. Yes,
Well, this is what I'm saying. And I hope like soon, you'll be able to come back maybe over the summer and the springtime to really do like a teaching on, your Muslim culture and your religion so we can learn more. Again, I fully believe that when people learn more about something, it helps
yeah,
them to stop with their, oh, I believe this and I believe that. But then we just actually teach
yeah.
you what it really is.
Yes, yes. So just to be brief, we believe in the angels. We believe in the hereafter. Uh, we believe in Jesus. As a matter of fact, there's more miracles in the Quran about Jesus than any other religious books. We believe in the Torah, and we believe in the Bible, but we don't believe that there's any revision. If it's God's word, then we can't, revise it. We believe
Mhm.
that the Quran, that not a single letter has been changed from it. So what I recite in the Quran, everyone, the same people in Africa recites. The people that memorize the entire Quran, if you make a mistake within the letter, they'll correct you. We believe in Mary, Maryam, we say in Arabic, the mother of Jesus. There's stories about her. There's a whole chapter in the Quran about the women. There's a lot of mention about race and equality and how to treat people, and a lot about helping the poor, so on and
Mhm.
so forth. But yes, I could do a presentation or something to teach people about us.
I think that'd be totally cool. I mean,
Yes,
that think that would be totally cool because we
yes,
really we draw so many conclusions and make so many assumptions that folks just have no clue about. And
yes,
I just am all about educating people about Black and Brown people in our community because if you know better, then you should act better. I think white folks, y'all hear me. You know who I'm talking to.
yeah,
So I think that we should probably continue to have these discussions from people from other faiths and other countries and just get to learn people and understand what their lives are like and also what you go through. I mean, it's heartbreaking that your kids are still getting, they get bullied, and you get bullied, and people of your faith are constantly being bullied. And it's a shame. Like you said, God-fearing people, honest, hardworking folks, just get associated with whatever. They want to talk about radicalization. We saw radicalization on January 6th. You want to talk about radicalized people? What do you think that was that we saw at the QS Capitol? That was radicalized people. It's all bad. So I really am, so excited to meet you and hopefully forge, a partnership and a relationship with the work you all are doing in Waterbury and Meriden. And, when we have things down in New Haven and Hamden, please come out and support and tell us what you're doing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm usually always there. But no, I really appreciate it. I think also just, one of the hardest things that happened was the Muslim ban.
Yeah.
When you're the leader of the free world and you make a Muslim ban, you're telling people it's okay to discriminate against Muslims. My uncle was from Yemen, and he loved his wife. He was American citizen, but he could not separate himself from his wife. So he stood in Yemen for years because he wasn't going to leave his wife and his son alone overseas. And the only thing that stopped him was him being a Muslim from Yemen. Nothing more, nothing less. This is America. This just happened a couple years. And God willing, when you said, what's the future? We need more Muslims to run for office so we could stop this and we could speak for those who have no voice and those that know the community best, and that will be there for all people.
Yeah, we need more representation that looks like us. And this is what I have continued and I will continue to say. I mean, we have to have representation. I mean, how better to represent your community than a member of your community? And then that's why we talk about this voter suppression, and you want to have a big public hearing that's happening on Monday to, have early voting and no excuse absentee voting. Because again, those are the things that are baked into our system, our electoral system, that continues to keep out people of color, Black and brown folks, from being a part of the narrative. Because if you work and you have 2 jobs or you can't get there, I mean, a lot of people have just punched out. They have just completely checked out of the system because it's just hard to even participate. So, I mean, we have to get, like you said, more of people who look like us, that looks like the community, to run for these offices. And that way you can have an honest, authentic voice at the table when legislation is being made.
Correct. That's what community will look like. And I really hope in the future that the party, the Democratic Party, not only talks about diversity, but welcomes diversity. And that's including in their boards or so on and so forth. That's when community will look like community. We can't talk the talk. We need to take action. It's diversity is very important. Very important.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
is how we eliminate. There shouldn't be no fear, because the more diverse, the more people will come to the party.
Yes.
That's my belief.
I believe that too. I believe it too. And we will continue to support Black and brown candidates here in Hamden and around the state who will actually subscribe to our agenda, the agenda that we have for our community, and say, these are the issues that we need you to focus on and we need your support. And if we can't get you to do it, then get up out that seat and we'll put somebody else in it and we'll get the next person to do it. But we cannot continue to have things done in a way that people who don't even talk to us, they won't even come and talk to our community, and then legislate how our community is supposed to be run. It's just problematic, and it has to stop.
They will come, though, when it's time for voting.
Right.
When it's time for voting, you won't believe the amount of people that want me on, to speak. Even the governor wanted me on his commercials, 3 commercials. Yeah.
You can't get him on the phone now, though, right?
No, I got invited to the birthday. So My friends joke with me. I guess we'll be calling you next election, so on and so forth. I mean, nothing against the guy, but it's just being the truth. It's just
It's
being truthful.
politics.
And
Yeah.
yes, when it's election time, they see that you can bring out thousands of people. That's when they want you to be on their commercials or, go on, have a press conference, so on and so forth. So,
So I'm
so
excited. I'm excited about the future.
yeah,
Do you guys have any specific?
yeah,
I'm so happy the Muslim ban, travel ban is done. I was happy to report that as soon as I think President Biden did that on inauguration day. That was one of his
yeah,
things he signed, his executive orders. I was like, thank you. It's like thank you. That was ridiculous to begin with. Do you guys have any
crazy.
other legislative priorities right now for the Muslim community?
We just want to get this. So what I know is like Ilham Omar and AOC and some of the other folks. What they're trying to do is to put legislation where this will never come out, where it's law. So if the next president came up and tried to put this ban again, it's already
Mm-hmm.
in, it's already a law where you can't do that. I
Oh,
mean,
okay, that'd be
it is
great.
a law
Yeah,
of discrimination, but something crystal clear where we will never have a ban of anyone in this country. You know,
right, right. I mean, how do we
here.
how do we do that as a free country? You know, that we ban people from a certain country, certain part of the world, and a certain religion, and call them extremists. I mean, that's the most hypocritical foolishness I ever heard in my life. Yet and still, like I said, January 6th was perfect for me because for all the folks in the world that always told me that white extremism didn't exist, I was like, what is this? What is this? You want to talk about Muslim extremists,
Yeah,
and radicalized black people? Come on now. What was that? We're not rolling to the US Capitol with zip ties trying to kill people. No, we're not. We're trying to march in the streets for equality and justice. That's what we're
correct,
doing.
correct, correct. So it's no secret. These white national, these white KKK folks, so on and so forth, whatever, killed more people than anyone in this world.
Oh,
They
yes.
slaughtered so many people abroad. So I have to say is an election was won on the backs of the black folks, the women, the Muslim, the
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ community, the Hispanic community, so on and so forth. And we need to learn to make sure this never repeats in our history ever again. And that's why
Amen.
we have to make sure we it's so important to make sure we take these people of this community and make sure they have a position in elected position.
Yes.
It's so important. Like I said, they shouldn't be afraid of a person like that. If Bradley Airport, thank God we drew 2,000 people. I thought maybe 100 people will come out there. And people seen this in numerous press conferences. And then when you want to run, they get fearful of you.
Mm-hmm.
That should not happen. We
No.
need to make sure that the party grows,
Yes.
and it's going to grow by equality and diversity.
Yes, thank you so much for that because I agree 100%. We're a part of a PAC. I'm a part of on the board of the Generation Change Connecticut PAC, which our primary goal is to support young Black and Brown candidates, show them the way, give them the money to be able to have their voices heard in legislation, whether it be on the school board to the governor's office. I don't care. We will support you and raise money and raise funds to help support those candidates who have a desire to run and will subscribe and support the Black and Brown agenda. So it's so exciting.
Absolutely.
I think it's an exciting time. I know everybody's been through a lot, the 4 years are over and whatnot, but I'm really excited about the times, the future. While everybody's feeling sad, I'm feeling excited.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me tonight. This was such a pleasure. And again, I want to know if you and members of your community can come on and we'll do like maybe a Saturday afternoon hour and you can go over some of your faith and in things that you can educate our community on and make sure my
Sure.
daughter's here because I want her to, get to learn
Sure.
this as well. And she has an
Sure.
amazing teacher, which is teaching her Arabic. So I would love for her to be able to speak with you guys and talk more about,
Sure.
things of your culture to be really great.
Sure, sure. And actually, I'll bring a person. He's actually from Hamden. His name is Saifuddin, African American convert, one of the greatest speakers probably in the state. And I'll make sure he'll come on and say a couple things. So I think you're gonna meet a lot more people. God willing.
Awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm telling you, because we are all
Yeah,
inclusive over here in Hamden Action Now. We're not trying to cut anybody out.
the best in the state. I learned that.
Well, thank you
Yes.
again so
Oh,
much for hanging out with me on Friday night. And I will be talking to you soon. And I'm glad you're feeling better.
thank you very much. I offer
All
you
right.
nothing but
Thank you. Do you want to give a nice prayer before we depart today? That'd be great. I need all the prayers I can get.
yes. I just say in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. I'll keep it very simple. I'm gonna go actually go pray right now, and I'll just pray for you, and I'll pray for
Thank you.
everyone. Yes.
Thank you so much. Well, I
Okay.
appreciate your prayers and you have a great weekend.
Okay. May peace be with you. Take care.
Thank you.